YouTube, how's it going? Welcome back to the channel. Today, guys, we will talk about the new supports for the Lightsworn archetype. Now, there were 3 cards from the Legacy of Destruction set, and that made everything change for the Lightsworn deck. Now, we will also talk about Lightsworn and tier elements within this video, but first and foremost, we're going to talk about the Lightsworn deck in general. Let's check that one out. So, just for a quick recap, what we got from the Legacy of Destruction is typically this cutie right here. So, Dragonling is your new dragon monster that is at level 4 with 1,500 attack and 1,300 defense. So, if you have Lightsworn monster in your graveyard, you can just special summon this to the field. That's basically it. If you have a Lightsworn monster in your grave, which is easy enough to attain, if you have your recharge and your charge of the Light Brigade, it would be easy enough to summon this monster right here to the field. And once this card is special summoned, you can send one Lightsworn card from your deck to the grave. So if you can summon a tuner in the name of Felis, and then you can have a level 4 non-tuner and a level 4 tuner that you can go into a copy of Minerva, the new synchro monster that was added in the Legacy of Destruction. This is typically like Chaos Ruler, but a weaker version, I would say. But it's kind of nice. Typically, it will enable you to gain access to your Punishment Dragon and your Judgment Dragon if ever you send the right cards to the grave. Speaking of, here is the Lightsworn Dragonling. So if this card is sent directly from your deck to the graveyard, you can add one dragon monster with 3,000 attack and 2,600 defense directly from your deck to your hand. So your typical targets here are these 2 monsters here. So insanely good. And the requirements basically is Judgment Dragon. If you have 4 different Lightsworn monsters in your grave, you can special summon this. And for the Punishment Dragon, if you banish 4 monsters with a different Lightsworn names, you can special summon this to the field. So level 8 3k body. It has a neat effect also by shuffling all the cards from the banished pile or in the graveyard back to the owner's deck, except for Lightsworn cards. So it's still an OP effect. Oh yeah, the new cards for other than the Lightsworn Dragonlings. The next one we have Weiss or Weiss. I think this is German. Lightsworn Archfiend. You can place one other Lightsworn card from your hand to the top of your deck, spell summon this card, and if you spell summon this card, then send the top 2 cards from your deck to the grave. I saw earlier Decade's video regarding the ruling about then, so I will talk about that in the later video. Anyway, so then send the top 2 cards from your deck to the grave. So if ever you milled one of the Lightsworn monsters that you have on hand, you can just spell summon them to the field. That easy. Also, Archfiend is a tuner and a level 4, so it's easy enough to attain a level 8 synchro monster for that matter. If this card is sent from the deck to the graveyard, you can target one Lightsworn monster from your graveyard, except for the Archfiend, and then special summon it. So another good effect as well if this card is sent to the graveyard. So that's pretty cool. And lastly, we have oh, I forgot, there's also a trap card included into this, except other than the monsters. So the ages, target one face-up cards your opponent controls up to the number of Lightsworn monsters you control. Negate their effects, which is kind of insane though. If this card is sent to the graveyard, you can just set this directly to your side of the field. So amazingly good. And lastly, our new synchro monster, like I said, a weaker version for the Chaos Ruler, and I think I'm not the only one who thought about it. So Lightsworn monsters you control cannot be banished by card effects, which is kind of good for the effects for the Punishment and the Judgment Dragon as well. So if this card is synchro summoned, you can send one Lightsworn monsters with different types from your deck to the graveyard up to the number of Lightsworn monsters used as this card's materials. So 2 materials typically. Majority of the time, you can just summon either one of these monsters here, or if you want to gain access to your Punishment or your Judgment Dragon, just send a copy of Dragonling. Or if you want to summon a monster from your graveyard that is of a Lightsworn name, you can use Archfiend's effect in the graveyard. Like I said, this is a really crazy card effect. You can banish up to 4 Lightsworn monsters from your graveyard, send that many cards from the top of your deck to the grave. So another good miller as well. And the craziest thing about this is a light monster, which is a level 8, and its material requirements are generic. So 1 tuner plus 1 non-tuner monster. It's easy enough as non-tuner and tuner for its materials. So any monster can actually summon this as long as it meets the criteria for the synchro summoning. So insanely good. I think this would be really good with cards in Master Duel in the near future if ever this will be released. like I said, a broken card. And that's one of the reasons why we're going to talk about tier elements and Lightsworn in the next video, or in the next deck list. So typically, we are running also Horus because Horus are an easy access to your zombie vampire, and cards sent from the deck to the graveyard from the zombie vampire's effect will also trigger. So you don't need to summon the monsters, they will just summon itself. Additional bodies to the field that you can go into a copy of Appaloosa or an SP Little Knight, which is kind of mad if you ask me. We are not running the recharge because I think Charge of the Light Brigade is basically enough. You send up 3 cards from your deck to the grave, and then you can add 1 level 4 or lower Lightsworn monsters. So typically, all of the Lightsworn monsters that you have in your main deck are level 4, which is an easy access to the Charge of the Light Brigade. The Horus are typically some extra bodies that you can summon to the field. 3K is no laughing matter. Also, your synchros are no laughing matter as well. Chaos Angel is a good protection. If you have summoned one of the Bestial monsters plus a level 4 tuner, you can gain access to the full effect of the Chaos Angel in the field. Crimson Dragon is an easy access as well, level 8 monster plus a level 4 tuner. You can target your Minerva for a copy of Crystal Wing to the field. Easy enough to attain, and by the way, I tested this deck out. It is easy enough to attain these monsters on the field. I had a ton of fun with the deck as well. 2 new broken cards from the main deck and 1 broken synchro monster from the extra deck. So that is your Lightsworn and Bestial. Let us talk about the tier elements with the Lightsworn. Okay, so here we are with the tier elements and the Lightsworn. I did take this out from, I'm gonna post that one here. I had no time to edit it, but as I've seen his deck list, it was kind of straightforward though, so I would just take that one and just showcase that one here. He is running the recharge as well, which is kind of good. I think we can just remove a copy of these here because this Charge of the Light Brigade is basically enough by sending the top 3 cards from your deck to the graveyard and then attaining 1 Lightsworn card. The rest, it's practically easy. Pillarino in TCG is 3 copies, so this is a really insane deck list for tier elements and Lightsworn. So like I said, easy enough to attain. You are also using the Horus engine here to bring forth more cards to the graveyard. And yeah, that actually benefits Lightsworn in general. Sending a copy of Wolf, sending a copy of Felis to the graveyard, which of course they can just summon to the field by its own effect. You go into a copy of Redoer if you have a copy of Sharon. Also, Merely is in the TCG, but we don't have Sprite here. So yeah, I think that's actually good. And we also got Totally Awesome, which is kind of nice as well. Yeah, sadly it's banned in Master Duel. But anywho's, the deck looks good. Kudos to the guy who actually made this deck list here. But I think I can just remove a copy of Recharge here because basically the charge is all that we need typically for this deck. You know what? I'm going to do a quick gameplay with the pure version for the Lightsworn. But yeah, I think that's basically it for the tier elements and the Lightsworn. So yeah, let's do a short gameplay with the deck. Okay, so here we are, guys, with a quick gameplay with the Bestial and the Lightsworn, or the new Lightsworn cards. So we got the Vice and Dragonling, of course, with the Aegis, so that's kind of nice. What we can do here is go for a copy of Recharge first. And we milled already good cards. I would put into my hand a copy of Wolf. Since we already milled a copy of Vice here, you can just spell summon the dragon. Use the effect of the dragon, send 1 to the grave. I would send a copy of the tuner, which is Felis. Use the effect of Vice, put Wolf back to the deck. Special summon Vice, mill cards. Use the effect of Dragonling, add 1 dragon monster. I would add a copy of Judgment. Or we can go with a copy of Punishment there. Still good, I think. We go for Minerva first. Minerva, sending 1 to the grave. I can send a copy of the tuner. And just send that one there. Yeah, let's go for a copy of that one there. Banish 1 dragon. We'll summon that. Use the effect. I can gain access to this one here. Yeah, I think that's good. There. Use the effect. We'll summon that. can go into a copy of this. Crimson, use the effect. Target that, go for Crimson. Summon that to the field. And just basically set the card. So typically we already milled 12, which is kind of good. And that's basically it. Pretty cool. Let's try to play this deck out. Gain access to the the Punishment Dragon. And then the card will mill. Yes sir, 4 cards. Well, we already milled the Mseti. Regardless, we got the Sarcophagus, so not half bad. Try to do different names. No. Use the effect, we'll summon that to the field. Use that, and should we just cycle back the cards? We won't use the Judgment Dragon here because that's kinda no-no. Taku. And attack. And that's basically it. Fun deck. I could not wait for this supports to be added into Master Duel. Really crazy. The new Synchro Monster is just insane. I mean, Jesus Christ. You couldn't be more generic with its materials, its attribute, and its level. So easy enough, any level 4 tuner and non-tuner alike can just summon it. This is a cool engine, by the way. The Dragonling with a copy of the Vice, and either just run like 1 or 2 copies of Felis, or yeah, 1 to 2 copies of Felis, 1 to 2 copies of Wolf. That is still a good engine, by the way. And with the coming of Horus also for Master Duel, I think this would be better with tier elements. But yeah, tier elements is a kind of cool thing as well. Although the difference without the Kitkalis in the extra deck, you have the Merly, but we don't have the Sprite Elf. I think that's still okay though. But honestly, guys, Perlerino on 3 copies. I mean, that's not half bad. I think you have Terraforming, I guess. Yeah, you still have Terraforming for TCG, which is an easy access to your field spell. But 3 copies, I think you can just use the effect of Terraforming right away. Since we already have 3 copies of Terraforming, I don't think this would be so much relevant though, unless you're running some other field spells. But yeah, this we can just remove. We already got the copy of Charge of the Light Brigade. But yet, as much as possible, just lessening some cards so that it will be easy enough to access your cards out. Yeah, just remove that one. And practically this, since it's already 3 copies, by the way, guys. Or just use the copy of Terraforming. It's easier than that. So, I think that's basically it, guys, for today. Those are the new supports for the Lightsworn, which is kind of cool. What are your thoughts on the new Synchro Monster? For me, it's kind of broken. Really, really broken. I don't think this would be like really healthy once it's going to be coming out for some other formats like Master Duel. But anyways, that is it for today, guys. Keep safe, good luck. If you like this kind of content, like and subscribe. See you guys in the next video. Goodbye.